Okay, so this is the second video on thumbnails. I'll be talking about how we can approach thumbnails. So there are many ways to create thumbnails, but there are three common methods which is seen and three methods which I want to talk about in this video. That is the silhouette, the sketch, and the painting. Okay. So the silhouette, which is the easiest method, this method only focuses on the external design of the character, while the internal design is left untouched, which, can be left for later. Okay, so we only have to worry about the external elements. We don't have to worry about any internal elements. You can worry about that when you start sketching. It's quite useful to come up with ideas quickly this way, as you don't have to worry about any internal details. You just have to worry about readability and worry about the big and medium shapes, and then giving hints of some small shapes here and there just in the external elements. And this can already give us a great sense for what the character is going to look like. Expected time is anywhere between 2 to 8 minutes. But if it's your first time, it's not unusual if you're doing an extra 10 minutes on top of that if you need to figure things out. So if you the first 10 thumbnails and you end up spending 20 minutes on each, don't beat yourself up. It's normal. You're just trying to figure things out. Then you have the sketch method. So keeping it rough and loose is ideal, as the overall read is important. This method is slightly harder, as both the silhouette, so the external design, and internal design is considered. This is obviously going to force you to think a little bit harder, because we have to consider more ornamental details. We have to maybe consider some like belt elements, how things are wrapped around. But I don't recommend being very picky about detailing. We want to imitate detail more than actually creating detail as we see it. So we just want to, again, worry about the big and medium shapes and just kind of hint at some details to kind of give us a sense for what the character may look like. Okay, so the expected time is between 5 to 15 minutes. Again, if it's your first time doing it, it's not unusual to spend an extra 10 to 20 minutes on top of that just to kind of figure it out. Okay. Then we have the painting method, which is the hardest, as we must consider everything from the sketch method as well as the values, which adds an extra element we need to keep in mind of. Okay, so that is like clothing, skin. If it's like a metallic element, you might want to add a little highlight on that. And then we add some ambient occlusion and some soft shadows to add a little bit of depth to them. And this might look quite exciting and interesting to look at, but it does force you to spend more time on detailing as a consequence, because it's just more information. And I would say this is the, if it's your first time, again, you're not going to spend 10 to 20 minutes. You might actually spend longer just so that you're just figuring things out. Once you are good at these things, you will be spending the right amount of time. So if you're doing the silhouette, once you've gotten better at it, your aim should be anywhere between 2 to 8 minutes. For the sketch, your aim should be for 5 to 15 minutes. And then painting, your aim should be for 10 to 20 minutes. Just keep in mind, not every method is better than the other. And it has its use depending on the preference, so your preference, or what is specifically asked from the client. If you have communicated with the client, if you're going to do thumbnailing, and how they would like to be presented with thumbnails, if they rather want to see silhouettes, sketch, or a painting method.